Hi, Tina here to tell you about another one of Metro's grant recipients. Today's recipient story has some challenges in it, but more importantly, it has the overcoming of challenges. I'm looking forward to sharing the story. So I'm going to start with a question. What do you do when your plans fall through? And you're disappointed, right? But how do you keep your vision for what that plan was going to how that plan was going to play out? How do you keep your vision? How do you keep your energy? How do you keep your positivity? Particularly if what we're talking about is a program that you were hoping to implement, but you couldn't because of a global pandemic. Well, if you're Megan Sharp, the executive director of Strive Worldwide, you reimagine. You take the time that you were going to be using implementing the program and you build some new partnerships, make some new relationships, and maybe even rethink your program so that you could have maybe a better impact, a larger impact than your initial vision. So that when you are able to implement, not if, you're ready. You have a sound vision and idea of what you're going to do. So Strive Worldwide, they were awarded a grant from Metro in 2020, and that grant was to be seed money for a fall break eco camp, an ecologically, environmentally focused camp over fall break for students from one particular school in Indianapolis. As like very shortly after finding out about the award, though, Megan realized that she wasn't going to be able to implement a fall break program in the fall of 2020, nor was she very likely to be able to implement a spring break program in the spring of 2021. Not just because of the pandemic and students not being able to gather, but the school that she had partnered with that she hoped to recruit students from, participants from, because of the pandemic, that relationship that didn't play out. She lost that connection. So she approached Metro and she was very willing to return the money because the grant money had already been awarded. Um, but she asked if we might be willing to extend some grace so that she could focus on a program that would be implemented in the spring of 2022. And Metro thought about it. The grants committee talked about it, our board talked about it, and we said, yeah, we need to extend that grace through the spring of 2022. So with that, Megan began reimagining. She envisioned actually a program that would go beyond just a few days in the fall or in the spring, but rather would be more in line with a class curriculum, possibly with a science class. So with that in mind, she made not one, but two local school connections. One in Indianapolis, the Center for Inquiry School 27 on the east side of Indianapolis, and the other, Danville Middle School in Danville. And in addition to these two new school partnerships, relationships, she pulled in an existing great relationship with a school that Strive had worked with in the past in Haiti. I would tell you the name of the school, but I can't pronounce it because it's French, but it's a middle school in Haiti. So what her vision was that these three schools individually, they would develop and plan and implement environmental action projects that were helpful to their own individual contexts. And in addition to the individual projects, which they would be guided both with the leadership of the Strive team, but also their teachers, their individual teachers. In addition to that, though, all of the students that participated across all three schools, they would gather via Zoom regularly. So they could share individual cultural experiences with the development of their programs and just shared learning. The students would be the students who participated would be awarded many grants, not like lots of grants, but little grants, so that they could provide further environmental impact opportunities in their local context. So this past Saturday, the school in Indianapolis, the Center for Inquiry, the School 27, they gathered a group of volunteers and told us, I was one of those volunteers, told us about what they'd learned about water pollution, specifically pollution from plastic in our waterways. And then they took us on a cleanup project along the White River. In May, the Danville middle schoolers, they will be holding a volunteer service day in their community where they're have built a garden or are building a garden. So they're getting volunteers to help them with this garden project so that then later in May, they can host multiple third grade classes from one of the elementary schools. I think they're planning to host as many as 8 classes over the course of a day. And they're going to give these third graders, these middle schoolers are going to guide these third graders through their garden space and the outdoor spaces that they've created. So Strive, if you've not heard of them, they are a local Indianapolis-based nonprofit with global reach. Strive facilitates environmental stewardship and sustainability initiatives with community partners around the world. And the initiatives foster cross-cultural engagement, understanding, and knowledge exchange. So this grant from Metro Ministries and Metro's willingness to be flexible and extensive grace have helped Strive to plant a seed that now is the Community Impact Academy. And they plan to continue and to grow the Community Impact Academy from what it is, what they've done just this spring with these 3 schools. And we cannot wait to see what lies ahead for Strive and for the communities that the Community Impact Academy would be serving. So Strive's this Community Impact Academy, that's another example of how Metro is able to stimulate what-if thinking in organizations and ministries that truly turn into making a difference for individuals and communities. And when you give to Metro, this is the kind of difference that your gifts can make. And if you've already donated to Metro this Lenten season, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't yet given, I encourage you to support our 2023 grants program with your generosity. So you can give through the newsletter where you're viewing this. I'm imagining you're viewing this today. The big button, Give Now button at the top, or even the one that's embedded in the article. Either of those will take you to our giving page. You can also donate on our website at www.indiemetroumc.org, or you can mail us a donation at 2560 Villa Avenue in Indianapolis, 46203. However you give and however much you are able to give, just know that your gift does truly make a difference on lives and communities across Central Indiana.